We'll never give up without a fight. Of course I will. I will do all that is necessary.
3, 2, 1, fight!
Yellow Ranger, power up!
Megazord, ready!
Cat stunners!
You found the skeleton. How would you tell it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on this.
All right, we are live here. And for those of you who might not know, the opening song that I have for my videos is in fact Bose, which was written and that version was recorded by Beethoven. So there you go. And we are here for some marathon debunking stream. So before I introduce my guests, I'm going to go over exactly what this is, why I do it, and what you can expect from this. So, a couple things though from chat. I don't know what a gacha tuber is, so I don't have an opinion. Captain Garloy also said the only good Rangers were the Mighty Morphin ones. Excuse me, SPD was good. Time Force was good. There's a whole bunch of them that were good. And actually, if you rewatch Mighty Morphin as an adult, you might not actually end up being your favorite set of Rangers. If you watch the whole thing as an adult, because yeah, they're actually not the best ones. They're just the most nostalgic. Anyway, so this is, I think, my third of these marathon debunk streams, and they always happen when a creationist group decides to copyright claim my fair use of their material. Now, what they copyright claimed is actually a video that's unreleased. So I have a video coming out it's not going to be for a while. It's called Liar Liar, and it's about Andrew Snelling. And AIG's copyright management company that they hired decided to flag it. Now, to be fair, the copyright claim has been released, but I'm expecting to have to fight a copyright claim on probably every single video that I make for this. The second video in that series is actually currently rendering on my computer right now. So, as a sort of, bit of a middle finger to Answers in Genesis, they copyright claim my stuff. I spend at least 3, probably more hours going over their stuff. Now, this is going to have a rotating panel of guests. Currently, we have Vishanti and TD Lane. So, Vishanti, as the person who's newest to being on the channel, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Vishanti. I am a guest on a couple of different channels. NASA Bunker 33 is the primary one. I also sit in on the shills from time to time. And I used to be a young Earth creationist, and I was kind of duped by a lot of their stuff. And I'm a musician by trade, but I am an amateur scholar, I guess. I love to learn, and that's how I found the science side of YouTube. So there are things that I have picked up in the years since I have found this wonderful little corner of the internet. And yeah, there's a lot of arguments that I have learned how to debunk over the years. And AIG is particularly petty with some of their stuff. So this is going to be
I
fun.
agree. All right, and TD, who are you?
I'm TD Lane. I don't do much online, but I am a geology student, so I'm probably going to be very, very impressed by the lack of knowledge of Geo 1.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
Well, I've had clarification from chat about what gacha tubers are, and apparently they're just people who do Let's Plays of gacha games, which I guess I probably should have guessed. And I retain no opinion. I don't think that I would watch that content, but one of my things is, just because it's not something I enjoy doesn't mean it's not good. Like, I don't know, I don't watch YouTube tutorials on, like, makeup, but I recognize that a lot of people who do that are doing, like, a lot of really hard work and are very talented and who have, you know, great production and whatnot. That doesn't mean I want to watch it. So it's probably in that same kind of category where, like, hey, I'll bet some of them are great. I just don't care. So, not all content has to be for me. That doesn't make it bad. That doesn't mean I don't respect the creator as a creator. Weird, right? Okay, so here comes... we are going to bring up... There we go. This werewolf fellow, who looks himself like the missing link between humans and chimpanzees, is Ken Ham. He is the guru behind Answers in Genesis. He is the person to... like, where the buck stops. So as far as I'm concerned, this man is personally responsible for false copyright claiming several of my videos over the years. So
That's a young Earth creationist Wolverine.
yes. Yeah. Although he's got that weird pot belly that Wolverine doesn't have, at least not in most of his appearances. Although it's weird. It's like just restricted to the belly. Because you look at Ken Ham from the neck up and he looks pretty skinny, but then like you see like a wide shot and you're like, oh, how does that even work? Like he doesn't deposit fat anywhere else. I don't know.
That is like weird and unfortunate.
This would be the perfect time for us to sing the little ham and eggs.
Well, then I'll get copyright claimed by Apologia.
Oh no.
I don't want that either. All right, well, here we go. This is Ken Ham's intro. Because this is something that was recorded at, like, I think the Creation Museum or something. They have an auditorium. Who cares?
Thanks for joining us in Legacy Hall to hear from one of our dynamic speakers, Tim Chafee. Tim has earned advanced degrees in theology, apologetics, and church history.
Ooh.
Now, he's also a cancer survivor. Tim is the author.
First, congratulations on you know, being in remission for cancer, Tim. That's great.
Yeah.
Also, a degree in church history isn't going to help you with showing us that the flood is real. Just going to put that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are several books, including the Truth Chronicles series, available in our book.
Oh, I don't want to do Ark Encounter behind the scenes. We're not doing that. So here's what's going to happen. We're not doing Ark Encounter behind the scenes. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to go on a quick intermission. I'm going to scrub through this until we get to anything else. If we don't get to anything else, I'm just going to say thank you all for coming. I mean, we've already been going for about 4 hours, so this already counts as a marathon stream in my book. So we're going to see what happens. But yeah, we're going to take a quick intermission, and we're going to come back. So please enjoy the intermission. All right. Well, from here on out, it's just behind the scenes Ark Encounter stuff, followed by preaching, and I don't care about any of that. So what I want to say to everyone here is thank you so much for coming. I want to thank all the people who appeared on the panel. So we got TD Lane, we got Fishanti, we got Cheshire Vic, we got John here. I really appreciate all of you coming and taking some of the load off of this 4+ hour stream, because my goodness, that's a lot. And I'm sorry that it didn't keep going. And also, I honestly, when I downloaded this, the description made it sound like there was going to be a lot of flood geology. Instead, there was none. So I want to apologize for bringing on some geology people for what I thought was going to be a geology-heavy talk, when in fact, nope, not even a little bit. So sorry about that.
I feel hurt.
But I'll go with this. Since John only recently got here and we didn't get to hear a whole lot from him, John, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being least likely and 10 being like certainly absolutely true, how likely is it that Genesis and Genesis version of world history and like history of geology and whatnot is accurate?
I mean, 0. There's really 0 chance.
Okay.
There's so many ways to falsify this. I'm sorry we didn't get more geology, and also sorry I couldn't join you earlier
don't
in
worry.
the stream. I've been taking care of a few things here today. But yeah, it's so easy to falsify. And, I get this a lot in private conversation, people saying, anecdotally, if only we had more money, more people to do more research. I mean, you can't compare an organization like Answers in Genesis with the U.S. federal government funded sciences. And on the surface, it seems like a fair comparison until you realize that, like, hey, any research that they would want to do, for one, they do have money, and research isn't that expensive. In the entirety of my postdoc, my 4-year postdoctoral research could be done on Anders Snelling's annual salary. So let's not pretend that they don't have enough money to do some actual research, but they can't do it because anything they propose, like there are already sufficient data out there to falsify any hypothesis they come up with. And that's why they stick to little things that really would have 0 impact in the field. You got Snelling out there collecting samples of rock close to folds and trying to convince you that the rock was soft when it was folded for this reason or that.
Don't forget putting people in front of the cracks and folds.
Yeah, he likes to deceptively photograph his sample areas.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too, because let's say, just for the sake of discussion, that sample site showed clear evidence that nobody disputed that those rocks or those sediments were soft when they were folded into that curve. Like, so what? What does that tell you? It only tells you that those rocks were soft when they were folded into that curve. Like, what about the other 9 million examples from around the planet where it's completely fractured and obvious brittle deformation, and on top of that, we've got like syntectonic deposits where the rocks below the rocks above had to be solidified to the point where they could form nice pebbles that get rounded off by water before being buried in the next sequence of events. Like, this doesn't happen. It's so incredibly simple to falsify every aspect that they put forth.
Here, real quick, I need to read a super chat. So for $5 from Vandali 1998, he says, the venerable Bede, will be talking about the Wars of the Roses in an hour on my channel if anyone is interested. And we will not be live for that, so go ahead and check that out if that is something that interests you. In case you don't know, the Wars of the Roses were a series of conflicts in England over who would have the throne, basically. It was a wars of succession, essentially. But back to this. Yeah, it's one of my favorite creationist attempts at doing some real serious research to get some answers is the RATE project, right? Which stands for Radioisotopes in the Age of the Earth or something. Like, the acronym doesn't super work, but whatever. I'll give you a little bit of leeway on the acronym. That's not that important. But their conclusion is basically, all the scientific data is compatible with an old Earth, and in order to get our model to work, we need quote-unquote exotic solutions, which is just code for miracles. So even though it's still touted some amazing confirmation of young Earth creationism, their conclusion was like, nah, this doesn't work.
Pretty much. I mean, that sums it up. Like, that's all that they came up with. The only way we can explain this is if everything was accelerated in the past to just simply to the extent that it looks like all of these ages line up if you presume modern rates were the same in the past.
Oh, and we have no way to get rid of the heat.
I want to
forget
know
about
why.
that. That's totally.
I really
Don't worry
want to know
about the
why
heat.
we have both breccia and conglomerate in what is supposedly flood rock.
It's a very diverse flood.
Because, yeah,
Why don't you explain
It's like-
breccia, because that's not a commonly used term, I don't think, outside of geology circles.
okay, so breccia is similar to conglomerate rock in that it's usually large fragments of rock, generally over 1 to 2 millimeters. That's angular instead of rounded. Conglomerate is generally rounded rock fragments.
So
And it's usually cemented together by something like, say, calcium carbonate. So with a very high energy water environment, you're going to have a lot of those angles gotten rid of by the environment.
right.
So you're not going to get things like megabreccia that we see in like Cambrian deposits up in Death Valley, or just regular breccia. You get conglomerate.
All right. Well, I think unless we have any final words from any of our surviving panel members, is what I'll go with. I'm going to give a little bit of
The rest
channel
of it.
news, and then we're going to get out of here. So, TD, you got anything for everybody?
Sounds good.
No.
John?
It's nice to be here.
It was nice to have
and
you.
Hopefully I'll come back sometime.
Awesome.
That's all I can say.
Wait, no, I do have
Oh.
something. Go watch Power Rangers, you losers.
Or don't. I don't care.
They should.
I don't care. Anyway, so let's see. Coming up on Tuesday, I think we're actually doing the Jackson with Jackson that we missed, or maybe we're doing a Matt with Maddie. I actually have to find out to ask some people because I don't know. I think normally it would be a Matt with Maddie, so I'm going to try to do that, I think, and then Jackson with Jackson might end up happening twice next month, which might mean it's going to be a while till we do a Kent with Bent, but I think that's okay. For $5 for Carrie Bronson, the shapes of rocks preclude young Earth creationists.
Yes,
Well, young Earth creationism. Obviously, they don't preclude young Earth creationists because we got too many of them running around.
Yeah.
So let's see. Then Thursday should be the next Helping Cindy Lincoln video. Then Saturday, I'm having, like I said at the beginning of this, Tim O'Neill is going to be on the channel. Tim O'Neill is a historian from Australia. He specializes in like medieval European history, and he runs the blog History for Atheists because a lot of atheists treat history the way that young Earth creationists treat geology. So we're going to talk about that. Now, if you're an atheist, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm talking about you. It's definitely not all of them, since, a lot of Christians treat geology the way it should be treated. So, yeah. But we're going to talk about some bad takes that atheists have had about history, specifically Christian history mostly. But yeah, that's as far ahead as I want to look on the channel. So I hope that all of you are going to tune in on Tuesday for what's probably going to be Matt with Maddie, but might not be. Yeah, I'll see you in a few days.
Real question though, Dapper, are you ready to be crucified in r/atheism?
Yeah, I don't care. r/atheism means as much to me as like r/creation. Like, I just don't care.
Accurate.
Yeah. All right, bye everybody. I just want to take a moment to thank my channel members and my patrons on Patreon. They really help keep the lights on here. And I want to thank those pledging $20 or above, especially Bob Knob, Benthoven, Ian Chen, Chris Love, Sphincter of Doom, The Venerable Bede, Pat L. Dennis, and Res Instance. Without the support of those whose names you see on screen right now, the channel simply wouldn't exist as it does now, and I certainly wouldn't be able to do 2 to 3 videos a week for over a year and a half now. If you would like to help support and make it so that this channel is something that can keep going, there is a link to join below the video, as well as a link to the Patreon in the channel description. If pledging money isn't right for you, please just hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and share my videos. That really helps my channel grow.